Should you shower with your battle map? Let's answer that and more questions right now. So Mike Shea a little while ago did a video on the Chessex Battlemat and his review of it, and also his blog post recently came out discussing it. One of the things is he talks about some completely wacko person who showers with their battle map. That's me. But let's talk about why I like Chessex battle maps and why they're so great in play, and then how to keep them clean, which is actually one of the very important parts. So the construction is fantastic. It's a sort of like cloth-like feeling on the back, vinyl surface on the front. Vinyl is not the best thing to manufacture, but once you make it, it's really stable and good. So compared to other types of plastic, I'd say it comes out ahead in the end. The surface is nice and soft, padded. Like if you roll a metal die on it, it kind of absorbs that impact nicely. Miniatures they put on it are kind of cushioned a little bit by it. It's a soft surface. Sometimes I use this as a surface under other things that I'm putting on the gaming table, even when I don't even need it, because it's sort of non-slip and soft and absorbent and so on. So it's a nice surface to just have. Some people just have it on their gaming tables like all the time. The other thing you can do with these terrains that are really nice is, of course, you can draw on them. So you get a set of markers like these that are wet erase, and you just draw on them. And then when you're done, you clean it up. So if I take my pen and I just, draw a line and whatever, I'm not drawing for real now because that would take my actual having some sort of accuracy. But, I put it on here. I just take my wet cloth and I just clean it off, right? And what often happens when you clean it off during play, like if you're at a convention, you run a 4-hour adventure, you've got it sitting on there and you grab a meal and then you go to clean it, you'll see some of the color often will stay behind a bit. I mean, this is just where I haven't cleaned it, but something like this might sort of stay behind. And then if you wash it carefully, you can kind of get it out of there. So more on that later. But one thing you can do is just draw. And it's great because you can write yourself notes on this surface. You can just outline the buildings. You can do detailed things. I've done cross hatching and shading that makes for really cool maps that like the kind of Dyson logos approach that you have. You can do that on a battle map if you want to spend the time to fill in the negative space and all that, or just plunk it down really quickly and get exactly what you want. You can also either instead of or in addition to drawings use tiles, right? So the grids are the same size as things like the old dungeon tiles that came out in 4th edition. So you can, set down some quick features and say, and here's the river, right? Or here are the two, forts that are protecting this area that you've got to get through. And players get excited because there's a splash of color there and it's sort of neat. You can also do cool terrain like Dwarven Forge, right? Here's some Dwarven Forge trees, and I can just plunk it down on my battle map, and it looks awesome, adding 3-dimensionality to it. And I've been really impressed when I use these maps across all of my games, how the map just sort of fades into the grid, fades into the background, and people then enjoy what you put on top of it. But the grid guides our play and helps facilitate that when you're playing with a game where a grid is useful, which often it can be. Almost every game coming out these days seems to have a movement of 30 feet and a close range or whatever the close type, you're near other things of 30 feet. So, there's a lot of that. So the battle mat comes in a couple of sizes. I have this size, which, rolls up into a nice roll that you can put in like a poster tube, or honestly, you can just fold it into your suitcase. It actually curves around the inside of a typical suitcase quite well to carry it to conventions, which is lovely. Or you can stick it in a backpack, but then it's kind of like a little bit of an antenna, unless you fold it. When you fold it, if you fold it, like say you roll it up and then you fold that roll in half, you will have a crease where this fold mark is for a bit. But as long as you roll it kind of one way and the other way, like the night before the convention, it should be back to being a nice, good surface. The size of this one is 22 by 25 squares. It's slightly larger in terms of the actual, it's inch squares, but the size is slightly larger when you look at the actual surface because it's got a bit of a border. That isn't necessarily useful except for like taking notes or just kind of covering your table, but it's slightly bigger if you look at the Chessex site. you'll see the slightly different size. But that's not all. We also have the MegaMat, so big it doesn't really fit on my camera. What? Yeah, the MegaMat is enormous. It is 40 feet, 44 by 33 squares, I think is what I counted. That is really big. Again, you can roll it up, you can fold it, or fold up the rolled tube that you have of it and use it in all the ways that you would. What's nice about this larger size is you can just put it down on your gaming room table, and it's just awesome because it covers your whole table. And so you can have really big battles there, or have a part of a battle that you draw something out and you cover it up. Well, I just use napkins or a tablecloth, cover that up. Play on the other part that you show the characters. So first battle there, and then move to the second half to have another battle. So it's a really nice, long, big surface that I like. So let's talk about that whole showering thing. I don't exactly recall how I came up with this, but it was really around noticing that my map, after I think a couple of conventions that had happened all in rapid succession during the probably 3rd edition era, I saw that, my battle map had some, you could see like a little brown here, some soft red over here. Some of the colors kind of stick to it a little more than normal. And I was about to go shower, and I said, well, I'll just haul this thing into the shower. And I was blown away, because when you use a cloth, or some people use paper towels to kind of, wipe away at that surface, you kind of don't get all of it. Some of it gets pulled into the cloth, but some of it is just being spread around. It's just the nature of the chemicals that are in these pens. When you shower, and this, you could also use a large basin. You don't have to shower with it, but honestly, it's just easy. You get into the shower, the water hits this thing, and you just see all of this wet erase ink literally runs off and right down your drain. It does not stain your, now look, I'm not liable for anything, but I'm telling you so far in my experiences, it does not stain anything. It doesn't get in the way of anything you're doing. You simply, the water alone will give this an incredible clean. Then what you can do is you can put a little bit of soap on your hands and just kind of rub it over the surface and let the water wash that off. And your battle map will be in great shape. You won't have any of those lines kind of showing up on there, or practically none. My mat's really good. In fact, both of these mats I have had since early 3rd edition days, right? So that's like what, 2000 something, right? Let's say probably since 2004 or so, I have had these mats, maybe even a little bit longer. So I have 3 of them. I use them all the time. Love them. And showering with them is the absolute easiest way to deal it, because you just let it run off, a little soap, and then you just hang it over the, whatever, either the showered after you're done showering or whatever, and you're set. So that's my tip. Thanks to Mike Shea for commenting about it and bringing it up. Thank you. I hope you will now proudly tell people how you shower with your battle mat, and I'll see you next time.